Hello, this is Broyar, and welcome back to another episode of our Let's Play for Football Manager 2023 as we continue our Road to Glory run with Banbury United, still in the Vanarama National League. We just ended our second season in the Vanarama National League with them. It was an excellent season. It really was. We definitely overachieved. A few disappointments along the way, as you guys remember, but we'll get into that as well, and we're going to do the transfer special in this episode too. Let's get right into it. All right, here we are, end of season review 25-26. New arrivals. The only one that actually worked out halfway decent was Ackroyd. We didn't even play him the whole time, but he definitely looked pretty good. Joe Nolan wasn't too bad. Honestly, I think we're going to be good to keep him around. Rowe probably will stick around. Hayes Green probably sticks around. Collins, maybe. Blair, I think Blair sticks around. Honestly, probably all of these guys stick around, except, I mean, it's probably okay that Abbott is moving on. He did not play especially well over the course of things. Transfers out. We did lose Tricker. I mean, the one sub he had a 7.0 rating, so I guess whoop-de-doo. But unless that was his one sub with absolutely, maybe I think it does rewrite it, doesn't it? So never mind, ignore what I just said. Matthews went out. Let's see, Bobo, Fleming. I think these are all mostly okay. Nothing crazy there. Loans out. I mean, Pinchard, not super great. I mean, Fremantle did all right. Sharif, terrible. Stevens, not too great. Terrell and Roberts. Yeah, I mean, not the greatest loans in the world, but that's kind of what you would expect probably at this level anyway. Final position was 7th. I mean, technically a little bit better because we did at least get past the first round of playoffs, so take that for what you will. Woking did get past Gateshead, so it'll be Woking and Notts County, as it probably should be. Those two guys were 91 points overall. I mean, they were extremely good teams. Kind of out of our league, so the fact that we held close to Notts County at all was impressive. Of course, the board were pleased. The board were okay with that, and the board were okay with that. So all three of those results were okay. It's this right here. If we can keep this form going into this next season instead of this form, this could be an extremely good season for us. Biggest win was against Buxton, 5-0. Our match to remember was against Filed, 2-0. Goal of the season was a Riley goal in the 20th minute of our win against Colchester. I guess we'll go look at that. Should be the first one from Harkin, right? Yep. Good go from Harkin. Is this in the playoffs? Yeah, that was the playoffs, wasn't it? We got the go from Riley. I think it was, right? Wasn't it when we just did this one? So yeah, good stuff there. I mean, obviously getting past them was huge. The finances. Sponsorships went up a little bit. Broadcast revenue went down a little bit. Corporate hospitality went, I mean, not great. Match day commercial was obviously quite a bit lower, which is very unfortunate. Most shirts sold was Pollock, Harkin, Ackroyd, Collins, and Rowe. Sounds about right. We did go up in reputation. That's awesome. That's actually really cool. That's how we lined up. Blair and Go, Riley, Jeffries, McAvoy, Wakely. Yep, okay. Abbott, Nolan in the middle. Harkin, Pollock, yes. Yeah, no, this is probably one of our better formations overall when things went well. It went really well. Fans player of the season was Pollock. Young player of the season was Pollock. Signing of the season was Ackroyd. Goal of the season was Riley. We just saw that one. Top goal scorer was Pollock with 29 goals. Most assists was Harkin with 10, but also Harkin also had, 20-something goals as well. Most player of the match awards was Harkin. Highest average rating was Pollock. And most passes completed for 90 minutes was Hayes Green. Most league goals by a player was Pollock. 82 goals so far league on. Interesting. I think that's because it resets at the beginning of the season or something like that, doesn't it? History in the making. Hard work and effort paid off on the pitch, and such a feat didn't go unrewarded at our end-of-season award ceremony. The spell of football in the middle of the season was the making... Oh, that spell of football in the middle of the season was the making of Banbury. I mean, we really turned things around midway, for sure. Banbury owe everything to powering through the middle of the season. That really set them on their way. Nope, absolutely, I agree. Here is our dynamic manager thing. We obviously started at Buxton, had a brief 5 seconds at Chelmsford, and then, I guess. And then we, of course, been at Banbury ever since. Did win the Vanarama National North. And hanging in there. Doing what we can. Already 200 matches in. Banbury overall best 11 squad. Wakely comes into it. Jeffries comes in, as does Cooper. Cooper, Jeffries, Wakely, all three of them come in as substitutes. Pollock up front. Good old Babos. Sharif. Roberts. Hall, of course. Supporter profile update. Hey, we gained a lot of social media followers. That's pretty awesome. Family went up. Hardcore fans went down a little bit. A little interesting. Overall team attacking, not bad. I mean, weak in the areas that I'm normally weak in. If I can pull this back up. Pass completion and dribbles is a lot of times the ones I'm weak in. General performance from Pollock. Obviously goals per 90 minutes. I mean, he almost scored a goal a game. Not bad. Physical output, Wakely, not good. If you're looking at that. Team defending, definitely could be better. I mean, that's one of our weak links. Shooting, Banbury. I mean, we're up there. That's pretty good stuff right there. We're up there in the conversation with Notts County, Woking, Gateshead. I mean, all the guys in the top, right? So that's pretty awesome. Club vision expectations. They want us to become an established Vanarama national team. I am okay with this, I think. I don't think there's any negotiation needed. Oh. I mean, we're gonna avoid being drawn into relegation battle, right? That's silly. No, I'm gonna go ahead and. I mean, if they want to be insulted, that's fine. We're not gonna do any promises right now. I mean, it's unfortunate to see them like that, but we can bounce back. A lot of times when we do stuff like that, they bounce back and say, "Oh no, we thought about it over the summer. We know we got this. We can make this happen." So we'll see what happens with that. All right. Well, there we go. We got a few guys coming in already, and I guess we could take a look at those guys since we already know about them. They are all. Goodness gracious, this is expensive. Expensive stadium. Unfortunately, it's only 4,000 capacity. Because if we do get promoted, we have to have at least a 5,000 capacity stadium. So we could be building a brand new stadium for nothing, which would be annoying. But if we stick around in the Vanarama National League a little bit longer, which I hope we don't, we can at least start making some money off of that. Or I guess we can rent it out as well. Nolan coming into the Player of the Week. They don't want us to be professional. I tried. But yeah, let's go take a look at our transfers coming in. So we got these are all the 18-year-olds that got released, right? Man City, Arsenal, Man United, and Liverpool. We've got two defenders. We've got Matt Harrington coming on the left-hand side. 3-star. We know he's 3-star current, could be as high as 3-star potential. I mean, but there's also a good chance he could go as high as 5-star. I mean, he's looking pretty good. Physical are pretty solid. Honestly, work rate's pretty decent. Teamwork's good. He looked like a pretty solid pickup for us. Spencer Johnson comes in on the right-hand side. Maybe less physical. Still got good work rate, good leadership, good decision making, anticipation, bravery, all that kind of stuff is good. Marking, tackling, technique. He looks pretty decent. He can also play the defensive midfield. Can push up as a wing back. So we'll see what he can do. He's at least a 3.5-star potential. So that is awesome. Ethan West comes in here as a midfielder, primarily, I guess, defensive midfielder if we continue to play that formation. Current, we know 2.5-star could go as high as 3-star. So I feel like he's a good, solid player, hopefully for the future. But again, I was hoping to be able to go pro so I can start really developing these guys. And we got an attacking guy on the right. I mean, it is attacking midfielder. I said it right the first time. On the right-hand side, 3.5-star current. Don't know what his obviously overall potential could end up being, but decent guy. In fact, he's better than Harkin according to this. So we'll see what these guys do once they actually get in here. But they're all coming in fairly cheap. So good stuff there. Got some sell-on clauses. Do we want to do anything with these? Nah, I think we're fine with not taking that or this one. So, all right, like I said, we got what we're cut up for us. Let's look here and see what kind of formation or what kind of stuff we've got going for us. If we go up here, do that. What's the best way to look at it? Really, the squad planner. I mean, squad planner I don't really like that much. I've been having troubles with it, so I usually just write it down on a piece of paper myself. You know, just kind of have my stuff going down on there. So I probably will continue to do that and work through what we've got, what we don't need. Come look over here at the selection info. We can at least see where our line draw will likely be. I mean, anybody below 6.8 is up for grabs. I mean, I think we do keep Sam Blair because he definitely turned things around towards the end there. But anybody below that probably, I mean, Matthew Hall is just a backup, so we don't care about him. Fowler can probably go. Hickman can probably go. Riley, honestly, not super great over the course of the season. I mean, if we can't find anybody else to replace him, we'll keep him. But if we can get him going, that's fine. Coyote, honestly, not super great. Jacob, James, I mean, several of these guys down here at the bottom, these guys didn't even play. So we're going to definitely be moving some of these guys on to free up some space. But I will bring you guys back once we have some information. But I think I have a pretty challenging transfer window ahead of us. I mean, we did get a little bit of a reputation boost. Hopefully that helps us out. But it's been so hard to get good players in because our board has a hard lock on how much we can pay people. Even if we have money available, they've been putting a hard lock on things. So I'm hoping that we can figure something out. All right, we are back and just finished the last of the friendlies. The first actual regular season game will be coming up here in about a week. But I did finish all the transfer stuff that I think I'm going to be doing. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at this. Just realized something. Let me update my spread little thingy here. So we'll start. This is actually going back to kind of the end of last season because some of the transfers happened before the season officially rolled over. We did go ahead and send out a bunch of guys on loans, either renewing some loans or some fresh loans. Like, for example, we are loaning out Coyote right now. We did renew a loan for Sheriff and Fremantle and Stevens, for example. We're not really going to be using Coyote just based on what we've got, but he's still got so much potential that we would like to see him continue to develop and kind of see what happens with that. As far as coming in, the last one you guys saw would have been Ackroyd here, although I do think I did talk about Harrington, West, and Johnson and Jones. I think I talked about all four of those. These are guys that came in. They popped up when they were released from obviously these Premier League teams as part of just kind of them releasing the youngsters, and so we went ahead and trialed them before the end of the season, and we did go ahead and get these guys in here. Matt Harrington coming in here as a left back. We got Jones coming in here as an attacking midfielder on the right-hand side. We have, I think I skipped a couple. West comes in here as a defensive midfielder. Obviously, another good key spot for us if we continue doing the formation that we're running right now. And then finally, Johnson comes in here as a defender on the right-hand side. So we got two wing backs. We've got an attacking midfielder on the right-hand side, and then we've got a defensive midfielder from those youngsters. In addition to that, we did go ahead and pick up two other pretty good players. Salisbury, looking like a pretty solid player for us. I originally brought him in as a striker, probably to take the spot over Pollock. I mean, Pollock might come in as a backup. Harkin, I'll talk about Harkin in a minute. We're going to do something a little bit different with Harkin, I think. But one thing I will say is that he has been scoring a lot. If you look at this, non-competitive, 8 appearances, 2 subs, 7 goals. And if we look at these, if we go to season stats, is that where? Guess we can't see him here because even though it's not competitive or just under form. Okay, there we go. If you can see here, he scored a goal here as a shadow striker. Here he's a advanced forward. Here he showed 3 goals as a shadow striker. Here he scored a goal as a shadow striker. Here he scored a goal as a shadow striker. I mean, he's scoring goals as a shadow striker. So there's a chance I might change what I'm planning on doing, move some things around. We have some other options, and then I can look at that here in a minute. One good thing about all the players that can be seeing me bring in here is that they can all kind of swap around a lot. There's a lot of guys that have multiple places that they can play. So it appears playing Salisbury as a shadow striker could be a really good deal for us, even though that's not why we originally brought him in as. Holding comes in here as a defensive player. Paying a lot of money for him. I don't know. He looked pretty good. He had 6.97 last time he was in the National League, which is obviously where we're at. Now, he did have a 6.79 in the South. I don't know how to read into that, considering, like I said, a 6.97 in the National League is pretty good. So almost a 7.0 overall. I went ahead and brought him in, probably paid more for him than we should have. It seems like about average for me, right? Paying too much for somebody. But a lot of these guys we're running for free, so figure might as well spend a little bit of money on somebody, see if we can get something for him. So we'll see. We'll see what he does. He does come in here. He's gonna probably be a starter for us, actually, because he is better than some of our other defensive options. And then coming over to this season, officially, here we picked up Goddard. He comes in here on a loan. He's an attacking midfielder on the left. So he should be able to hold down that spot pretty well. Probably primarily as a main winger, although we could play him as an inverted winger or an inside forward like we have been currently. He hasn't really played anything. I mean, he's coming from Charlton, Sky Bet Championship team. So we'll see. We then brought in Steve Ritchie from Kettering. We did pay a little bit of money for him. He comes in here as a striker option, although I did primarily bring him in here as a inverted or inside forward on the left-hand side ahead of Goddard. But again, if Salisbury comes back to a shadow striker role, then maybe we just play Ritchie as an advanced forward spot. And that actually covers those two spots pretty well. That is definitely an option. He's a tall guy, got good jumping reach. Where's his heading? I was hovering. So his heading's not super great, but his finishing, first touch, and free kick taking, or sorry, dribbling, finishing. Is this the three that we like? Finishing, first touch, and dribbling. I don't know why. There's three. What is it? I mean, we like to see this heart, right, for strikers, and he does have a little bit of the heart. So he is a little bit weak on some spots, strong on others. We shall see. He has scored a couple goals in some of those preseason games as well. So, like I said, might change my plans for what I was going to originally do with him based on how well Salisbury has been playing as the shadow striker. And then finally, we bring in Brandon Charles here. He comes in here as a solid central defender role. Again, I kind of brought it in here as, potentially as a shadow striker, or, we could play him as advanced playmaker if we try to change things up a little bit. But if Salisbury drops back to that, that might work as well. But Brandon Charles comes in here for that. He just comes in here from a Premier League team, Southampton. So we don't know how good he's going to be. We shall see. But he has the potential to get really, really good. We have a lot. That's kind of the rule of thumb for most of these players. They have a lot of potential to be really, really good. As I was talking about the preseason stuff, we can go look at the schedule for that. We play 3 championship teams first off. We only lost to them by, a goal here, 2 goals there. But that was even before we had some of these other players that were a little bit better. Once we got some of those guys in, I mean, Hornchurch is a nothing team. Beat them 7-0 with a hat trick from Pollock. I mean, who cares? There's a goal from Salisbury there. Doncaster, Oxford, Derby, Ipswich. These guys are all either Sky Bet League 1 or 2 teams. I don't know how much you read into friendlies. It's possible they were just playing a bunch of their backups, things like that. It probably doesn't mean a lot. Although friendlies, I mean, it's a way to get your team, some early season, training and stuff like that, or and kind of fitness and stuff. So you've got to think they're playing some of their starters, right? And to draw every single one of those games feels pretty good. And then the 2 wins here that weren't the Hornchurch win, Buxton. Both of these are former Vanarama National League teams. Buxton went down at a level, but we obviously know that they were in the Vanarama National League with us last season. We beat them 2-0. And then Rockdale actually went up a level, and they're in Sky Bet League 2. And they were the number 1 team in the league last season, and we beat them 4-2. I don't know how much we read into all of that, but kind of results that we would want to see against the type of teams that we're playing, to be honest. So this bodes well if we can read anything into that at all. So first game's up going to be against Fylde, and then followed by Exeter. Let's see. Can we see? I don't remember which team came down. I guess we can see. Where would we see that? I'm sure there's more than one place to see it, but we can definitely do it this way. If we go up to Sky Bet League 2 and go to the stages and look at previous season, Sutton and Barrow came down. So we'll have to kind of see how those guys do. Presumably they're going to be pretty good teams and possibly favorites to win the Vanarama National League. Let's see here. Sutton actually is 21st, and what was the other one? Barrow, 14th. As you can see, we're up there at 17th. Well, I say up there. We're down there in 17th, actually, is what I meant to say. The media doesn't think we're going to do that good. I like that sometimes because usually, we typically do overachieve what the media expects from us. Hopefully we can. We definitely have a better team than we did last year, I think. Now, we haven't seen them really in action, but I really feel like we have a better team than last year. And we did 7th place last year. So I'd like to see us, I think we can get back into the playoffs again. If we play if these guys play half as good as some of those guys from last year. I mean, these guys are better players. We shall see what will happen. Overall finances, we still got a little bit of money in the transfer budget. We still got a little money in the wage budget. Not a lot I'm going to go after right this second. We could always adjust if we see some players not doing so good. Our overall balance is starting to get pretty weak. We really needed to turn pro, get better, more fans coming in. Well, I guess we can't afford to turn pro, but we definitely need more fans coming in. Hopefully that would be something we could get if we get promoted up into league play. Anything else I needed to show you? I guess I can show you where the squad's going to look like. That would kind of make some sense. So here's how I originally had it laid out. Obviously, we got Blair still playing as our primary goal keeper. Harrington, new guy, comes in on the left-hand side with potentially Rowe coming in behind him, or Jacob. Jacob, we tried to actually move on. Couldn't really get him moved on. So for now, he's in there in the mix with Rowe. We'll see what happens. Hayes Green, McAvoy, Holding, Wakely. These guys might swap a lot because obviously McAvoy and Wakely played really, really well for us last season. So there's going to be a lot of interchange here. It really comes down to how do these guys match up with each other. If one pairing ends up playing better with each other than another, that might be the pairing we keep together. Things like that. Right backs looked good before I started getting some of these other players in. They were like 3-star players, maybe even 3.5-star players before I got some of these other guys, Salisbury and Richie in, for example. But so I'm not going to read too much into the star rating. We know Jeffries played pretty well for us last season. I think Johnson's going to be a good option as well to give us some lift there. We might start Jeffries. I don't know. We'll see how that looks. We still got Aykroyd. We still have Nolan in the defensive midfield roles. We also still have Riley. I tried to move Riley on. Struggled with that a little bit. Honestly, couldn't get anybody to want to come in for him. And then we brought new guy West in, which we talked about. He's 18-year-old or 19-year-old? 18-year-old. So a lot of potential in this guy West. So would be good to see him start making some moves. Kai Jones comes in here as a good attacking right player. We already talked about him. The reason I have Harkin over here is because Harkin has a trait where he likes to run with the ball down the right-hand side. I kind of didn't notice that last season. I probably should pay more attention. I know I should pay more attention to the traits. But we tried to get rid of this trait for him. Unfortunately, we were not able to. And that's how, we actually got the message that says, the attempt to remove this trait or whatever, however they say it, failed. He still likes to run down the right-hand side. So I was like, okay, if he likes to run down the right-hand side, we should probably play him on the right-hand side. So he's still going to be probably an attacking midfielder on the wing, most likely. But very likely going to be coming in on the right-hand side. Collins kind of gets relegated down to a third-string role. But we know he can play in a lot of different spots. So I think it's still good to have some players like him. They can come in here and do what they need to do if we get some injuries or fatigue or things like that. Our central midfield feels the weakest at the moment, which is why it's very likely that we bring Salisbury back, because I think that would actually be okay for us, because we still have Cooper from last season and we have new guy Charles. We'll see how that looks. But I think Salisbury, we've seen him. He's proven that he really loves that shadow striker role. Well, we may do that quite a bit. Richie then again potentially takes the striker role in front of Pollock. Obviously we know Pollock can play. I'm going to probably initially start with some star rating kind of trend towards what the star rating tells me it will be. But if some of these guys start to suffer, then we definitely have these guys as backups that can come in at any time. It's possible then Goddard plays as our primary guy on the left-hand side with Rowe behind him. Although Rowe may be playing back here. Again, a lot of these guys have a lot of flexibility. Richie can play, left, right, or front. Goddard can play left, right, or front. We already talked about Salisbury. Can't play on the left, but he can play, front, middle, right. So he can play all over the place. Pollock can only play front, which is okay, although technically he can play as a left back, which is strange. Rowe can play all up and down this left-hand side, so that's really, really helpful for us from Rowe. Charles can play a striker or central defender, or central attacking midfielder, sorry. Kai Jones, I think he can play. Yeah, he can play. Technically, he can play left, although probably he could be trained as left is probably what I should say. So he's pretty much locked into the right. Obviously, we know Harkin can play left, right, or up front as well. So we got a lot of flexibility with a lot of these guys. We will see what that does for us. I think we have the right players. Really comes down to the right formation and the right players in the right spots of the formation. And then I think we'll be in a good spot for the season. Anything else I need to look at? We had a couple injuries. Riley's coming back from an injury right now. Harkin's coming back from, Riley's still injured. Harkin's coming back from an injury. A couple of these other guys have also recently been injured, unfortunately. So hopefully they will be okay once we get into the actual proper play. But other than that, I don't know. I'm feeling optimistic, which is unusual. We just talked about it in the last, couple of episodes ago, how this game brings out the pessimism in me because it just feels like glass half empty type of stuff a lot of times. I feel really good about this team. I really like Salisbury. I really like what I've seen through him in the preseason. I really like what I've seen from Richie so far in the preseason. Obviously, we know Pollock is good. We obviously know Harkin's good. I think Harrington will be a good pick on the left-hand side. I mean, I don't know. I think we definitely improved, and we have some players that we know are solid, either backing up or still starting. So we will see what happens. I'm actually kind of excited to get into this first game, but this is actually going to be my last episode of this session. So I'm going to have to wait personally until the next time I get an opportunity to sit down and do some recording. So I'm a little excited. I want to get right into it, but I got to get to bed. I can't stay up all night. So there you go, guys. Let me know what you think in the comments below about the team. What do you think? I mean, Salisbury, how much credence do you put on how people play in preseason? Do you think the fact that Salisbury played really well as a shadow striker means we should start him as a shadow striker? I'm kind of leaning that way. But let me know what you think in the comments below, and give me a thumbs up if you think the team's looking better than it did last year. And hopefully we can get back into the playoffs at the very least. Ideally, obviously, I think we would really like to go ahead and get out of this league, just because I think there's going to be more money available to us up higher up. And another way we can get more money, obviously, is to make a bigger push into the cup games, and that would be really awesome. All right, we'll go ahead and put a cut in there. When we come back, we will kick off season number 3 in the Vanarama National League, season number 5 overall for this series. But I do appreciate you guys watching. May God bless you, and I hope you join me again next time. Thank you, and goodbye. I wanted to give a special shout out to the following channel members. Thank you so much for supporting the channel.